Okay, so we're going to be looking at Stage 2 Music Individual Study, the Folio. Now the Folio is worth 30% of your grade, and together with the product makes up the 70% of the school assessed tasks. So it is a reasonable part of your assessment. You're going to be completing it alongside of your product. So whenever you do anything on your product, you're also going to be working on this part as well. And essentially the folio is where you're going to be documenting everything that you do when you're producing the product. Okay, so it's, I guess you could say that it's an informal documentation of the process. The report at the end is a lot more formal than this, but your folio is I guess you could say a little bit more informal. Now there's a couple of things that you need to do. Very first thing that you would need to do, and this is once you've actually decided what topic you're going to be doing for your product, you need to be doing a topic proposal. So once you've had a bit of a look, you need to start. This would be one of the very first things that you document. Now I'd strongly suggest that always keep hard copies of everything, but one way to kind of keep on top of your folio would be to get a USB or a hard drive or something like that. Have an individual study folder on that particular USB or hard drive, and everything that you do just constantly put in there. It's a lot about the collection of what goes on. One big tip: do not leave the folio go until the end, otherwise you're going to struggle to remember everything that you've done. So it's very important that you do this as you go along. So the first thing that you're going to be doing is doing a topic proposal and a plan, and this is going to be a description of the processes involved, or what you would think would be involved within the study, and setting some goals with a projected schedule. So that would be the very first thing. Now it's important to keep in mind that this may change, but or at least the goal setting or your schedule, you might end up by completing it in less time than what you thought, or you might find that you might need a little bit more time on some things. But it's important that you have something in place. You can tweak it later on. So after you've done your topic proposal with the description processes and some goal setting, is you need to start making regular entries showing your progress. Now sometimes your entries might be really small. If you make a phone call to somebody about something that you've done, or you have made a purchase of something, you keep your receipts. All that sort of stuff. It doesn't matter how big or small, as long as you're making regular entries. And if you're doing something every day, just jot something down, or have a Word document open and just put your entries in there. Sometimes you might be required to actually do some research into your project. So for you to actually to move forward, you might actually have to do some background research into the area that you're getting involved in. But it's important that as part of that process, if you do produce any sample materials, or if you have any material testing, once again, it's very important that you keep everything. Even if you don't think it's important, never throw anything away, okay? We can trim the folio a little bit at the end, but essentially at the beginning, you want to keep everything that you've got. Now, the folio can take a number of forms. So a large part of it is going to look at, I guess, a little bit like a diary with regular entries, but it doesn't just have to be that. It can be supplemented with proformas. You could have CDs and DVDs. If you've videoed anything that you've done, that would certainly become part of that. Now some people's products are going to be a CD or a DVD, but if you've done test runs on things or something like that, don't throw any of that away. That's all can go into your folio. Interviews, questionnaires, photographs, pamphlets, etc. The list is there. So you're going to be supplementing your folio with all of these sorts of things. Now, once again, very, very important, this needs to be completed alongside the product by the end of term 3. Like I said before, you do not have a term 4, and everything has to be handed up really early in term 4, so it's important to try and get it done as quickly as you can. And essentially when you finish the product, most of this would have been done as well. Now, same thing again, we have our analysis, application and knowledge and understanding as part of our performance standards. This will look pretty similar to the product performance standards. And once again, you want to try and constantly get within this A band. Now, the good thing about it is that the website have actually put some samples of what the different categories. They put an A band and then they put a C band in there, so you can actually start to get a bit of a sense of where you're at by comparing. So if we have a look at one of the examples, this particular person managed to get right up within the A bracket. If we just skip down to their performance standards, you can see that most of what was selected was up in the A band, which is really, really good. There was a couple of things in the B band, but most of what they produced was well and truly up in the A bracket, which is great. So we just unpack that a little bit. You can see that they've obviously got a title. They put what the assessment type 1 folio. They put that in. So this is a Turn 1 journal entries. And what they've done is they've began documenting. So you can see that whenever they've done anything, and sometimes it's not every day. This person went from the 2nd of the 2nd up to the 15th of the 2nd without really doing too much. But like he's documented everything that's gone on. You can also see some of the headings that he's put there: the planning process, ideas, research, inspiration, planning. So obviously you can't copy this, but it just gives you an idea about some formatting. And some things that you might want to include. Now, once again, if you go onto the website, you can actually download a copy of this and look at into this a little bit more in depth. I'm not going to read through it all now. But you can see that his entries are fairly substantial. He's gone through everything that he's used, anything to do with what's happened. See here, there's a couple of smaller entries. Part of the reflection and valuation. This is a really, really useful tab on the side when you're actually looking at the example. Just have a look at this part here, because this corresponds with what's been highlighted on the assessment rubric. So you can actually relate it right back to that. So yeah, they don't have to always be really big entries, and you can actually see the language is quite informal. Today is a public holiday, and I've spent most of my time today on the piano and continue to produce ideas. So it's not really formal language which you might use as part of the report. It's quite informal. Now, like I said, you can continue just going through, having a bit of a look. Some of the entries are big, some of them are small. He hasn't really included many photos or anything. He has put in, because this particular person was producing a CD, so of spiritual music, I think. So he's actually put in some designs for his CD, some font designs, and he's actually included some analysis and some reflection on that. Once again, right up into the A band because of the reflection. Okay, so you can see, I mean, it's not huge. This person hasn't included any photographs or things like that, but you can take screenshots. Yeah, there's a range of things. So try and keep it as varied as possible. But as long as the format is quite similar to this, in that you've got regular entries with the date as to when it's happened. That's a really, really good way to start. So that basically concludes that. The one thing that, like I said, and I'm going to reiterate this again, please make sure that you are completing your folio alongside when you're doing your product. Anytime you do your product, you're going to be putting something into your folio. That's one of the things that's really going to influence the success of this particular component. Can't stress it enough. Okay, in the last tutorial we're going to have a look at the report, and this concludes the folio section.